Hi guys, Jenny with On Fire Fit, and today I am talking a little bit about faith because we are all in need of faith. Whether you are somebody that has a strong belief in God or you are questioning it, or whether you have become a Christian recently, everybody is in need of faith because faith builds hope and it keeps us moving in a good positive direction among many other things, which I'm not here to talk about why we need faith, but I am going to talk a little bit about one of the things that I do to work on my faith, and it makes a huge difference in my attitude, how I am with other people. And it gets me moving in the direction of my purpose, which I really feel is the whole reason that we're here on earth. We need to know our purpose. Otherwise, what is the point? And I really feel that people need to be healthy in mind, body, spirit, and in strength. And so I really focus in On Fire Fit with helping get the mind, the spirit, and the body all working together towards a positive thing so that we grow and become more healthy, like this beautiful plant behind me. So one of the things that I'm going to actually have you do, if you would like, is to go through what I do in the morning for my Bible study time, one of the things that I do. So if you have a Bible, I would love for you to get it out. You could also go on a Bible app, but I am actually going to read through part of the Bible, and then I'm going to talk about things that I journal and what I kind of think as I'm going through this, what I meditate on, because I know a lot of people are like, I don't really know what to do once I start reading the Bible. It either doesn't make sense or it doesn't feel like it applies to me or whatever. So that's what I want to kind of walk you through, like a real step-by-step of what I do. Okay? So if you do have a Bible, you can always put this on pause and come back to me. I'm going to take you to Joshua. I finished the book of Joshua recently. I have been reading through the Bible from beginning and just taking it through at my own pace. I have read the one-year Bible multiple times in the past, and that was pretty cool because it took a little segment of the Old Testament, a little segment of the New Testament, a little bit of Psalms, and a little bit of Proverbs, and it kind of forced you to get through it in a year by making you read a certain amount. I've done that several times, and that was great for that stage of my life, but I'm at the stage in my life where I want to go as deep as I want for that period of time. So sometimes I'll read only a few verses. Sometimes I'll read a few chapters. Sometimes reading will set me in a direction of looking up commentaries about that verse. I actually use a Life Application Study Bible, and so at the bottom of my Bible, I don't know if you can see this, so up here are the verses, and then they give you a little bit of information and maps and things, and down here is the commentary. So they give real life applications and help you to understand what a lot of the things mean here and why it is applicable to us today. So I really like this type of Bible because it really gets you deeper. But so I'm going to kind of talk you through this. We're going to start with the beginning of Joshua, Joshua 1. Joshua is a very encouraging book, so it's a great book to read. I will read and pause where I feel inspired. I did not really prep this. This is just going to be my sort of normal day-to-day thing that I do. Okay. After the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord said to Joshua, son of Nun, Moses' aide, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now then, you and all these people, get ready to cross the Jordan River into the land I am about to give them, to the Israelites. I will give you every place where you set your foot, as I promised Moses. Your territory will extend from the desert to Lebanon, and from the great river, the Euphrates, all the Hittite country, to the great sea on the west. No one will be able to stand up against you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. So I'm going to stop right there. One of the things that I like to do when I go through the Bible is ask myself the question, who is God? And the second question that I ask is, what is he saying about me? All of the promises in the Bible are promises for us. These are our ancestors. This is our heritage. And in parts of the Bible, it talks about the reason that these stories and this is here for us is because it is a part of who we are, and that it was useful information for us for our lives today. So these are not just a bunch of stories that are nice to hear, they actually apply to us. So when I read through this, I look and I think, who is God? He has the power to give over an entire land to the people that he chooses. He has that much power that he can predict that he will be able to do that ahead of time, hand it over. So there were other people living there, and he was able to predict ahead of time. So he is sovereign, he is powerful, and the promise that he gave Joshua is the same promise that we get. He says, I will be with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. And that's our promise. And when we think about that, we say, well, what is that saying to me? What is he saying about me? He's saying, I need to be confident too. He's going to give me the territory that he has decided is for my future, and whatever that means. And when I say territory, you probably know what that is. And if you don't, then this is a great time to start exploring that. What is it that God has put on your heart that is something passionate that you would want to do? That is territory that he is willing to give to you. And you just have to be willing to step out into it, just like the Israelites did. And he promises that he's not going to leave you nor forsake you. So he is telling me to be confident. Moving on to verse 6. Be strong and courageous, because you will lead these people to inherit the land I swore to their forefathers to give them. Be strong and very courageous. Be careful to obey all the law my servant Moses gave you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left, that you may be successful wherever you go. Do not let this book of the law depart from your mouth. Meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Did you notice how many times he told him to be strong and courageous? That is not an accident. God wanted that point to be driven home. And here's the interesting thing. So God is strong and powerful, and yet he is commanding Joshua to be strong and courageous. So we have that same order given to us. But what other parts are in there that some people neglect? That is the part about departing from the law and making sure that we obey what he has commanded us. So a lot of times, let's call them prosperity preachers, and that basically means people that speak out of the Bible, but they kind of leave out the laws of God. They are neglecting to remind us how important it is to follow the plan that God gave us, because he says clearly over and over and over again that you will not be prosperous if you don't follow his law. Now, yes, there is grace and forgiveness, and that's why Jesus came and he took care of that, but you can't continue to go on in full-blown knowing sin and just keep asking for forgiveness. If that's the case, then God has not captured your heart, and he is not the Lord of your heart. So when he becomes the Lord of your heart, you don't want to do that kind of stuff. You may still continue to sin. We all do, and none of us are going to be perfect. And yes, we always, every day, need forgiveness. But there's a huge difference between being cavalier and just not letting the law that God has laid out have any effect on us, and having an earnest heart that wants to please him and go in the direction that we know is best because God told us it is. And because of that, if you can do the second part of that, where you're actually meditating on his word, focusing on what he is saying, and inadvertently when you make mistakes and sin, then you ask for forgiveness. But we want those promises. We want to know that God's going to be with us wherever we go and that he's going to give us that territory. But we have to do our part too. And so I believe that that is what he is telling me in that set of passages, is that I need to meditate on this day and night. I need his words to be coming out of my mouth, and I need that to be my focus. I can't let myself get distracted looking to the right or to the left and getting all distracted about all the things in the world. And God will go with me and take care of me. And yes, we have trouble in this world. That is part of this world. And we're never going to escape that till we get to heaven. But our purpose for being here is to bring others along with us, truly. That's really the bottom line. We want all to go to heaven and to have some degree of peace on earth. You can have peace even through trials, but really being able to, in whatever capacity that is for you, to have people want to go the direction that you're going. And you might have a totally different purpose as far as what it looks like in the way you act out your life. You know, you're not necessarily going to be a preacher or whatever, but you can still be an example of God's love, and you can show people what it's like to be filled with his love. And that's what I believe we're here for. So that is all I'm going to do for today. That was just Joshua, the first chapter, starting at the first verse and going through verse 9. And I would usually journal a little bit about that. I just kind of spoke out loud what I might write down. But I really believe that that makes a big difference in how we go about our day-to-day life. And it just gets you encouraged. And we're supposed to be refreshing and resetting our minds every day. We have enough of the world inundating us day after day after day. If we don't give more of this fuel into our fire, where we are hearing God's way, it is very easy to lose sight of what is important and to get off track. So I encourage you to get into your Bible. It is very exciting. I never thought so before when I was younger. I just kind of went through the motions. The more that you get into it and you apply it to your life, the more you see changes, the more you see just something inside changes. So I hope and encourage you to continue in that and just, really look to God for the source of your joy, your peace, and the answers that you need for anything in life. All right. I'm so glad that you were with me today. Thanks for sticking with me. And I hope that you will go out into the world and set the world on fire.